everyone, I'm going to teach you today how to make homemade pickles. If you don't buy the pre-pickle seasoning from the store and you're going to make your own completely from scratch, which is what we're going to do today, you do need a lot of ingredients. You're going to need a pot because you need to boil stuff on the stove. You're going to need a mixing bowl. You're going to need 2 quart glass jars. These are just mason jars, but you could rinse out an old pickle jar and reuse it. Anything you want, but they have to be quart glass jars. Distilled white vinegar, white sugar, coriander seeds, mustard seeds. I'm using dried dill because that's all I had today, but you can also use fresh dill. Crushed red pepper, salt, water. You're going to need 2 cups of water, and 6 Kirby cucumbers. So the first thing you're going to do is you are going to take 1 1/4 cups of distilled vinegar. Just make sure a little bit more. Of course, it's always better to measure on a flat surface instead of in the air like I was doing, because then you get more accurate measurement, but I did it in the air so you could see. And you're going to pour that into your pot, along with 3 tablespoons of salt, and 2 tablespoons of sugar. And then you're going to turn that on to a medium-high heat and let it boil and keep going until, I never have trouble with this burner. Husband always says he does, but I never have, and of course, now that I'm trying to record this for you, I am. There we go. I had the wrong burner on, that was part of the problem. Okay, so you're gonna let this go over medium-high heat until all the salt and the sugar are dissolved. You're gonna wanna grab a whisk and just kind of stir it so that it's once in a while to check on it. And while that's going, you're going to prepare the rest of your ingredients. So when that cools, you're going to pour it into 2 cups of cold water. So I'm just going to do that now to get one thing out of the way. There's my 2 cups of cold water, and just putting on the side to use later. Okay, so in your jars, you're going to put a bunch of things. You're going to take your 6 cucumbers, your 6 Kirby cucumbers, and you're going to quarter them. And you're going to put 3 of the cucumbers in one jar. I'm sorry, 3, yeah. And 3 of the cucumbers in another jar. It's going to be a tight squeeze, but you should be able to get them all in there. If you want to keep them whole, you certainly could, but it's much easier to do it as spears than it is whole pickles, for this recipe at least. There we go. So you're just gonna get them in there. This is the trickiest part, believe it or not, as they slide down. Come on. Okay. And then you're going to do the same thing for the other jar. You're going to quarter the other 3 cucumbers. And put them in the jar. Try to get them to stand up as straight as you can because it's easier to get everything in. Okay. Now that those are cut in there, I'm going to check my salt and sugar mixture is still going, still not dissolved yet. Okay. So now inside these 2 jars, you are going to add the other seasonings. So you are going to add 6 large cloves of garlic. I already peeled and cut it, and actually my family really likes garlic, so I actually did 8 cloves because that's all I had left on the one head. So divide it roughly in half. Put half in each jar, and I just cut each clove up a little bit so that it fit in there nicer. Okay, you are also going to do 1/4 teaspoon of red pepper flakes. And again, about half in each. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you are going to use 1 teaspoon of mustard seed. I keep looking at my recipe because I do not have it memorized. So again, about half in each. Then you are going to use, where is my, 2 tablespoons of coriander. And again, 1 tablespoon in each. For the dill, you're either going to use 16 sprigs of fresh dill or 4 teaspoons of dried dill. So I had dried dill, so I'm going to be using 2 teaspoons in each. And you know what I realized before? I said 2 tablespoons of coriander and I totally put in 2 teaspoons of coriander. So I have to fix that. So let's see, you get 3 teaspoons and a tablespoon. So I need to add 2 teaspoons more to each. I will post the recipe so that you can see it. And then you can see the correct measurement and not my, oops, I goofed, but thankfully was able to fix it. And let me double check on my mustard. My mustard was still a teaspoon. Okay, great. So dill, like I said, you're either going to do 16 sprigs of fresh dill or 4 teaspoons of dried dill. I thought I had a teaspoon out. Yes, I do. Okay. So again, that's about 2 teaspoons per jar. It's starting to smell like Easter eggs in my house with the vinegar boiling. And you're gonna let that sit. Did I put everything in? Yes, I did. Okay. And my salt and my sugar are pretty much fully dissolved now. So I'm just gonna give that a stir. This is your brining solution that you're making on the stove. Okay. So once that's off, you are going to very carefully pour it into your 2 cups of cold water in your mixing bowl. Try not to inhale the vinegar fumes like I'm doing. You're going to whisk it together, and you're going to put this in the fridge until it's cool. It'll take about an hour or so once it's cool. So I'm going to let this cool down, and then I'll be back and show you how to finish this up. Hi everyone. Okay, so it's been about an hour. My brining solution has cooled down. I took it from my bowl and poured it into a measuring cup just because I find it easier to pour into the jars with the measuring cup than I do a bowl. So you're going to take the briny solution and you're going to pour about half into each container. And you want to make sure that the cucumbers are completely covered in the brining solution. If they are not, you can continue to fill it with water. That one I just pushed down a little bit further. Now it fits. Okay, so everything's completely covered. You're going to put your lid on, seal it really tight so that it doesn't spill. And then I like to just shake it a little bit to make sure that everything is mixed properly and all of my seasonings that we put in there are mixed together and in all throughout the pickles. You're then going to put these in your fridge for about 24 hours before eating. And then after that, they will stay in your fridge for about a month and you have homemade pickles. And that's it. Bye.